Master Roshi's Ki Blast boards a train heading east at 30 miles an hour. Meanwhile, Ultra Instinct Goku jumps forward at a 45-degree angle with an apex of 1.5 meters and a total travel time of 1.5 seconds. Solve for X. Hello, today we are going to be covering the Kazunoko and Goichi set from the DBFZ National Championship. This is the prelims, not the finals, but the finals are coming up this weekend if you're watching this right when it goes live, so hopefully this video can get you excited about that. What I want to do with this series is cover some of the more interesting matches from the Dragon Ball FighterZ National Championships that are happening all around the world. Most of them have actually concluded at this point, and you can watch all of them over at the official channel. I'm going to link that down below, and I highly recommend doing that. I'm only going to be covering a single match and a few extra situations from Goichi and Kazunoko's set, but if you want to watch the full first to 5 and a bunch of other high-level sets, I'll have the link down below. If there's other sets from before the finals that you want me to cover, be sure to suggest them down below. I do want to continue with this because I've really enjoyed doing it so far. Last time what we did was we went into training mode beforehand and showed off a bunch of situations that were going to happen in the match, and then we could call back to them as the match was happening. This time we're going to kind of flip it. This time we're going to let the situation play out in the match, then we're going to hop over to training mode and show what happened, why it happened, and what other options could have been involved in order to make it turn out differently. Then we'll go back to the match, let it play out again, and we'll move on through the set that way. Hopefully this gives you a good idea of how people who are looking to improve at fighting games can analyze footage in order to learn a bunch about the game and also just enjoy watching them more. The more knowledge you have about these specific situations, the more you can enjoy watching them unfold at high-level play. The one thing I do want to show you before we get into the actual match that is really important for this set, because both players are playing Ultra Instinct Goku, keep in mind how risky it is for them to be moving in certain ways. Like doing an instant air dash back is relatively safe against most characters in the game. Even if you do this, you'll go over a lot of beams and a lot of tools that people will throw out on the ground like Ki Blasts. However, Ultra Instinct Goku's Ki Blast is too big, it's too tall, and it's too easy to convert, because on block, nothing happens, and on hit, you can clearly get all these extra hits and visually confirm it, and be able to confirm it very, very easily into something like a vanish. So if I give myself some extra meter here, now I can very clearly just see that it connected, go for this vanish, and get a full combo. So pay attention to how the players are choosing to move around in order to kind of minimize their risk. All right, so let's start this match off. What's the first thing that's going to happen? And that instant air dash back that we talked about. But there was an exception to what I was talking about where it's super risky. Okay, so we're gonna rewind just for a second just to kind of make this super clear. At this point, Kazunoko doesn't have meter, so he can't actually vanish to confirm the hit. What he does is he calls Gotenks. If Goichi were to get hit on the ground or block on the ground, then Gotenks' beam would have locked him down and let him either get a combo or get his turn started. But because Goichi is so high here, he actually was above the beam. So this thing we talked about as a big risk actually isn't that bad, isn't that much of a risk in this specific situation just because of the context of Kazunoko having so little meter. And I know we're only like 7 seconds into this match, but another really important thing just came up. This situation right here. For one reason or another, they both swing here, and they clash. Then they immediately trade, weird graphics there, and you'd think that at this point, Kid Buu should actually start mashing because they just traded, they should recover at roughly the same time. Kid Buu should have advantage because he has faster attacks than Ultra Instinct Goku. Kid Buu has a 6 frame, Ultra Instinct Goku has a 7 frame. But there's two things to keep in mind. First of all, look how far apart they are. This is too far for Kid Buu's lights to actually be able to reach, so in that case, Ultra Instinct Goku has the advantage. But more importantly, Ultra Instinct Goku actually recovers first because his 5L has significantly more hit stun. It's more like a medium as far as hit stun and block stun is concerned than most other lights in the game. So Goichi knows this and just chooses to block and chill out because he knows he's not going to win that scramble if he keeps mashing, which is super, super good on his part. And one more thing we're going to cover. We're going to go at this at a faster speed after we get through the beginning here, but this is just such an important thing to keep in mind. So Goichi techs Dragon Rush. And now in Season 3, both players are going to have their air actions available after teching this Dragon Rush. So you see Kazunoko immediately air dashes back in and gets his turn started, ends up getting a hit in the scramble, and is able to get like some really good damage and a lot of momentum from it. Now we're going to hop over to training mode here and kind of explore this situation a little bit more. So whenever you see something like this that you want to know more about, and maybe you wonder what Goichi could have done to win this situation because you're wondering, when I get put in this situation, what can I do to win this situation? It's always helpful to go into training mode, set up a training dummy to record and do the exact thing that you want to happen. I set the dummy to cancel the Dragon Rush, so if I record a Dragon Rush, they'll break the Dragon Rush. So let's record Dragon Rush, and then air dash LLH. That's exactly what Kazunoko did. Now let's see what can we do if we play this back in order to beat it. And the answer is, depending on our character, we can delay a jab slightly to catch him as he's air dashing into us. So maybe we want to practice this a little bit. Maybe we want to figure out what our combo could have been if we did get that hit, practice that a little bit. But then be sure to take this one step farther. But you might be wondering, Goichi seems like a pretty smart guy. He probably knows that he can do this, so why didn't he do this? And usually it's because there's other options at play that maybe he's worried Kazunoko might do. And just as a really quick test, the first thing I thought of was to go for this move, which would give him a pretty easy confirm if he used an assist or something like that. Maybe it would be better to use the light one, maybe it'd be better to use the medium one. I'm just going to use the EX one because it's the first thing I thought of. And now let's play that back real quick, tech this Dragon Rush, play it back. And of course it does whiff punish our jab here, and it's super easy for him to visually confirm that he got the hit. He could probably vanish, use an assist, something like that, to confirm into something really good. And this is only really scratching the surface of some of the things you can do. After teching a Dragon Rush, you could always just choose to back off and maybe let your assists do the work for you. So I don't blame Goichi for playing it relatively safe and just choosing to chill out and block in that situation. Alright, let's go back. Watch this one more time, air dash in. Unfortunately for Goichi, he does get hit by that jump H, which really shouldn't be much of a mix-up there. But Kazunoko did have a lot of other options. He could have landed, go for Dragon Rush. He could have gone for a flip mid-air because that is an airborne option for him as well. Goichi chooses to spark out and chill out. You see Kazunoko get hit by that assist on incoming there. You are going to be seeing both players run into each other's assists a lot because both of them have such amazing assists on all three of their characters. That will definitely come up in the future. Again, we'll talk about it when it does. The situation right here is something really important, I think. So Kazunoko is about to get his turn started, and Goichi goes for a guard cancel. At this point, Kazunoko realizes like, okay, I don't know if I can block it, or maybe he knows he can't block it based on whatever he was doing. So he goes for a vanish to save himself. He does it too early, so he gets hit by Goichi here. But I want to show you what he was going for, and I also want to show you why this might be a terrible idea at a super duper high level, but it's generally a good thing because most people don't know the option that actually beats it. So the goal when we counter vanish their guard cancel is to do it late enough that they have to block our vanish. And you see I have the opponent set to mash after they block the vanish. And if we do this right, since we should be at an advantage here since they blocked our vanish, we should be able to challenge and get our turn started. Neat. But here's the problem with this. First of all, if we vanish too soon, we just get hit by their guard cancel, we lose a bar, and really nothing happens. So they still got out of the situation, and we lost a bar while they were doing it. But here's the other problem. You notice how they can block our vanish on the ground? Well, that means that they recovered. If you can block, then that means you recovered. So that means they could do other things too. Other really bad things for us, like anti us. An even easier thing to do if it's near the corner is just to reflect and then get a combo after the reflect pushes them into the corner. Either way, this is a really scary thing to do, although at most levels of play, no one does this. Like literally almost nobody does this. One of the only people I've ever seen do this in a match is my good friend Coup d'etat, who unfortunately hasn't played competitively in a while. So I think we're safe, but if people start to do this and learn to do this, we're gonna be in trouble. Okay, now I promise we're gonna go at a quicker pace now with this. I'm gonna try not to take too long to go through the first, oh my god, only like 20 seconds of the match. There's that situation we just talked about, played back one more time. Now they both want to kind of chill out in neutral. They're really letting their assists do a lot of the work. You'll see very often when they have assists available, they'll wait for the other person to move towards them and then call their assist and let the assist do the work. Like right there, Goichi called Ultra Instinct Goku's assist when he was safe to do it in neutral. It locked Kazunoko down, he got his turn started and got a hit as a result. And obviously if the assist had just made contact, then he would have been fine anyway. Did it again there, backing up really slightly here. He uses that assist one more time to lock him down. It's going to be coming up right about here, and he actually gets an empty jump low mix-up as a result. Kazunoko knows not to challenge because that assist is really, really good, really invincible, and hard to make contact with. Kazunoko gets hit in kind of an unfortunate scramble. He should have had the advantage because he did block a super dash there, but whatever he did just unfortunately didn't work out. And now Kazunoko is in a pretty big pickle here. Goichi chooses to back off, doesn't want to do anything too risky. I like this choice from Kazunoko here. So Goichi takes kind of the safe option, backs off, and then maybe tries to win a scramble afterwards with a super dash. Kazunoko blocks it, waits a second, and then ends up dashing in after Goichi has already basically landed from his own backdash. So this is a really common thing. You super dash at somebody, and then you air dash back and toss out your biggest air attack, and if they go to dash in, you'll end up making them block it. It's kind of a pretty safe way of retreating, but because Kazunoko didn't dash right away, or maybe he just couldn't because he did block the super dash in the air, he ends up letting Goichi whiff, and then challenges him on the ground, and ends up getting the hit as a result. I really like that. Spends all of his assists here. He's going to have to swap out into Gotenks. You do not want to have such a valuable character like Ultra Instinct Goku out if you don't have a spark to save yourself and he's at a health where he will actually die in one more hit. Ooh, okay, now this is an interesting situation too. So Kazunoko gets level 3 knockdown, and he backs off and Goichi super dashes. It looks like Kazunoko is in a perfect spot to anti-air the super dash. It's actually kind of astounding that he doesn't do it. It looks like this is almost exactly what he was baiting. And it's almost exactly what he was baiting, I think. I believe what Kazunoko was trying to do after this level 3 was actually bait out hard tag, not super dash. So look at GT Goku's health here. Super low health, clearly wants to get in another character if he gets a chance. This is what you'd expect. You think the character with really low health wants to get out of there, swap to someone like Ultra Instinct Goku or Kid Buu who can probably tank one more hit without dying. So Kazunoko dashes back, and I think where Kazunoko was looking wasn't over here where Goichi was. I think Kazunoko was actually looking at Goichi's health bars, because the easiest thing to do to react to a hard tag is actually to look at the character's health bars themselves, look at these character portraits. When you see GT Goku swap into Ultra Instinct Goku, that is a super easy signal. It's the fastest thing you can see. Okay, new character's coming in, time to anti-air. But because he's looking here, it's the exact opposite spot where he needs to be to actually see the super dash happening, so he wasn't ready for it, and Goichi gets out as a result. But immediately does get tagged by that assist. I just really like this whole situation, so I kind of want to look at it one more time. Kazunoko and Goichi have done such a good job of calling out when the other player wants to approach. So Kazunoko thinks Goichi's approaching under him right now. Perfect time to call out the Ultra Instinct Goku assist. Beats the approach pretty much cleanly. In this situation, all you can really do as Goichi is just run up and let the assist happen. Jump away, let it whiff, let Kazunoko burn the assist and waste the assist. Now you are going to have the advantage of having more assists available and Kazunoko having less. Here's some Ghost Oki. It's super, super good. I believe what Goichi does here is that reversal. That is such a really good choice. I know it's kind of a degenerate, brain-dead reversal, right? But it's such a good choice against Ghost Oki in particular because, first of all, it goes through the ghost. Most reversals don't travel far enough to actually be able to challenge there. But there's one more really good thing about that reversal. This reversal is actually super hard to punish if the other person blocks it in the air, because it just keeps on traveling and it's really hard to chase down and get a proper hit on. And the most common way the Ghost Oki works is you toss out maybe 2 ghosts as you jump on the opponent, and what you'll do when you're at this point in your arc as they're locked down from the ghosts is you will then air dash for a delayed overhead or land and go low. It's a pretty standard Dragon Ball 50-50. Even though Gotenks could probably block in the air in this situation, he still would probably end up letting Ultra Instinct Goku get away because it would be blocked in the air. So yeah, Kazunoko probably could have hard baited this reversal in this situation, but the problem is that he has to hard bait it. The thing that's so good about Ghost is that you don't have to hard bait anything, it just kind of beats everything. You can lock the opponent down without taking a risk yourself, and the fact that Ultra Instinct Goku has an option to turn that into even a little bit more of a fair situation for the other person is a really big deal in that matchup. Okay, so watching this play out one more time, I do think this is a much smarter situation than it first appears. Because even though, yes, it is a big risk, it's actually a smaller risk than almost anything else Goichi could have done, and it definitely complements a lot of his other options. Now Goichi snaps in Gotenks. I don't personally love this choice if you don't have assists to help you win neutral right afterwards, because it's so hard to lock down the opponent after snapping them in. I get that you want to get that blue health and you really don't want to deal with that character, but now this situation is only happening poorly for Goichi because he snapped in Gotenks and didn't have a good way to actually maintain the neutral and actually lock Kazunoko down. Now Kazunoko gets a really good turn here, Goichi with the clutch Dragon Rush tech. They're both kind of feeling each other out in neutral, not taking any huge risks, although Goichi does finally take the big risk of trying to swap in. It wasn't too big of a risk though, just because Kazunoko was in the air. It's a lot harder to snipe a super dash in the air than on the ground. I know I'm jumping all over the place here, but one more thing I really like here that Goichi does. This is a really common thing with Ultra Instinct Goku, but if you don't play him and haven't tried playing him, you won't really know what's going on. It's crouching Ki Blast. Obviously goes up at this angle, right? If it's blocked in the air and you cancel into a grounded Ki Blast, that is a true block string. And that grounded Ki Blast is a true block string into Vanish, so it gives Goichi a perfect chance to get his turn started there. Although Kazunoko does fight his way out immediately with a really well-timed jump. More feeling each other out in neutral. Ultra Instinct Goku 2H is such a low risk. The simple universal overhead finally gets the hit. Sometimes the simple stuff is what you gotta use, even if your character has all the fancy things in the world. It's definitely worth it to go with the simple Dragon Rush or the simple universal overhead from time to time. And that is a dead Gotenks. And this is actually really clutch for Goichi because he somehow still has his whole team intact and Kazunoko is down in assist. Both players have so many good assists in neutral, and in fact, if Goichi was down in assist, he wouldn't have been able to do that, where he was able to challenge Kazunoko as he approached with that UI assist once again. Chooses to cash out even though it won't kill. I'm guessing he's just thinking, well, all I need is one small tap on Kazunoko, so any hit I get at this point will kill, whether it's a Vanish, a Super Dash, whatever, and it just happens to be a low 2L. Solo Roshi can definitely make the comeback, but it is going to be difficult. The mix-up is decent for a solo character, but not quite as good as you need to open up someone like Goichi. So I think this is going to be really tough. Kazunoko probably wants to open him up more in neutral than actually on offense. Ooh, that situation was so good. Let's look at that again. This is the power of geometry. I'm going to try and do this in slow motion so you can see what's going on. So Master Roshi tosses the Ki Blast. It's going to go this way, right? It's like tossing a ball, seeing how far he can chuck it, goes off screen. He can hit the button again in order to make it whip back like a boomerang, and it's going to go flat across the ground. Goichi sees this, and as a really low risk option to challenge, he just jumps over that path and is able to whiff punish Kazunoko when he sees that he goes to the follow-up. I love that so much. It's like, it's actually the lowest risk thing he could have done to challenge in that situation, while also being really good damage. Full combo. Master Roshi's Ki Blast boards a train heading east at 30 miles an hour. Meanwhile, Ultra Instinct Goku jumps forward at a 45-degree angle with an apex of 1.5 meters and a total travel time of 1.5 seconds. Solve for X. Oh, I love that so much. And now Goichi's in such a good situation. He extends just long enough to get the level 3. So now he's only going to need one more hit to be able to seal this out. And he's also got his turn started. So one thing I really like about what Goichi does here is he actually goes for a command grab, which normally is just like, yeah, okay, it's the mix-up. It's a really common Ultra Instinct Goku mix-up. I get it. But what's really cool about this, and why I think this is a better idea than normal, is because command grabs and Dragon Rush beat Master Roshi's reversal. Master Roshi's EX armor is invincible, but it is still armor, so you can actually grab it. And that makes a command grab or Dragon Rush mix-up double up as a mix-up and also a call-out to the reversal. Although it does kind of look like Goichi might be a little too late here to actually catch it. So let's say Kazunoko did actually reversal here. He might have still hit Goichi, just because he might have been a little too late. But in general, I love the idea. Really good stuff. And that was a super close match. They both played amazingly well, I think. There's so many small situations that I had to constantly pause and break down, and they all really, really added up to the outcome of the whole match. And it wouldn't have been nearly that close if they weren't both playing those situations so well. There is one more bonus thing I wanted to really quickly show you from a different match in this set. By the way, I blurred out the scores at the top because I don't want to spoil the set for you. This is relatively late in the set. I don't want to tell you exactly where, because obviously this is worth watching. Go back, watch the whole thing. Goichi and Kazunoko are some of my favorite players to watch in every game that they play. But something else that happened in a previous match, something that I think Kazunoko did that was super, super smart. Look at this situation. Does it just look like Kazunoko DP'd? Does it just look like he used his reversal to fight his way out and take a big risk? Because that's not actually what he did. He didn't take a big risk in this situation. This is the least risky thing he could have done. For one reason or another, Goichi uses an anti-air here. He uses 2H. I'm not entirely sure why. I don't know if it was an execution error or if he was trying to cover some kind of option. Whatever the reason is, Kazunoko saw that he blocked an anti-air. And all Goichi has left here is to either block or cancel into a special move. Either way, it's a risk, because the anti-air is negative enough to be punished. Meanwhile, if he cancels into something like a super dash, he could get anti-aired, and if he cancels into a special move, he could maybe get reflected and punished. So what Goichi ends up doing is super dash, and what Kazunoko does is reversal. But the thing about this is that the reversal beats every option. There's nothing Goichi could do after having his anti-air blocked that would beat this. He would get punished on block by the reversal. If he canceled into anything at all, it would punish. And the only thing he could do to be safe is to cancel into something so quickly that it would be a true block string and the reversal could never come out. At that point, what would happen is Kazunoko would have blocked the special move and would have been plus and be able to challenge with Ultra Instinct Goku's gigantic buttons. So I know this just looks like he's reversing, but this is such a good option in this specific situation. This sort of thing would be super useful against a character like Broly, who oftentimes cancels his anti-air into a command grab or a frame trap. So if Broly were to go for a command grab, he ends up getting hit, although some reversals might actually kind of lose or trade because he does still have armor, but this is definitely better than having to take the 50-50. So he'd beat the command grab, and he would probably trade with the frame trap that he'd go for with armor. And then in the scramble afterwards, Ultra Instinct Goku is super good in scrambles, so it might be good in that situation too. But characters like Janemba and a bunch of other characters who can actually cancel anti-airs into command grabs and other mix-ups, this completely helps you to avoid that kind of rock, paper, scissors situation if you happen to block an anti-air in a scramble. Hopefully this video makes it out before the weekend, because this weekend is the finals for Japan, which are actually being played offline. and both Kazunoko and Goichi are going to be in the finals, along with, I believe, both Fenrich and Banbaban. So it should be really, really good, really exciting. I'm excited to watch some super high-level offline Dragon Ball once again. I do want to do more of these videos, so feel free to recommend me some sets below that you would love to have me cover. I hope you guys like this format of video. I kind of still want to mix up how I incorporate the information into the match. I don't know if I like how often I had to constantly cut away from the match to go back to training mode, but I think the pacing might still be better than having you guys wait 8 whole minutes of me doing training mode stuff before we get into the actual match. I'm not sure what the right way to do it is, but I'll keep experimenting. So let me know what you guys think and what you want me to cover next time. And of course, if you want to continue to learn Dragon Ball FighterZ with me, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out. And follow me over on my Twitch to see when I go live. I'll be back with more soon. Thanks for watching.